Hello and welcome to the Punting Green, the PGA Tour preview show brought to you by oddschecker and pricedup.bet. I'm your host, George Elek. I'm delighted to be joined by Ginger Joe as we look ahead to the John Deere Classic this weekend. It wasn't a classic weekend for PGA Tour golf last weekend, despite a good field, but he nailed one winner in the sub-markets, Joe.
Yeah, it was nice to see Sami Välimäki get the job done for us at 10-1. Played really good golf, actually. So, look, I'm glad we played him in the top Nordic market because he didn't make the places on the leaderboard. But that certainly eased a little bit of the damage from the squad, who did play well. But this is a little bit of a theme at the moment. They're playing well, but just missing out from the places by sort of 2 or 3 shots. But look, we had the nice 10-1 winner, and hopefully we can get back to the winners' enclosure this week as well. Also, anyone that's on my oddschecker column would have had Minwoo Lee as the first round leader at 55-1. He finished second, so a little bit back there too.
Nice. Right, let's get into this weekend and the John Deere Classic, which takes place at TPC Deere Run. What can you tell us about this test of golf for the field?
Yeah. Well, you say it's a test of golf. It's probably the opposite this week, George. TPC Deere Run hosted the event actually since the year 2000. It's a 7,289 yard par 71. In my opinion, this is probably the easiest golf course that they will play all season long on the PGA Tour. You're looking at 25 to 30 under winning score. You just need to play with good wedge play, good putting. Not my favourite type of course to dissect. I like it when you need to use a little bit of course management to sort of find your players. But look, I'm sure we can try and find someone that's going to land us in the money anyway. But it's basically target golf this week, George, yeah.
Good stuff. Well, let's look at the field. Not a stellar field. Ben Griffin, although a serial winner on tour this season, heads the market with pricedup.bet at 16-1. Priced up paying a quarter to 5 places. As I always say, if you haven't got an account, make sure you sign up for one to get these prices. Jason Day, 22-1. Denny McCarthy, 25-1. Michael Thorbjornsen, 25-1. Davis Thompson, 33-1. Siwoo Kim, 33-1. Chris Kirk, 35-1. JC Poston, 35-1. Jake Knapp, 35-1. Loads of other players at that price too. Kevin Yu, Lucas Glover, Luke Clanton, and Ryan Gerard. Any of those into the squad, and how many do we have this week?
Yeah, so I got a 4-man squad for this week, and I do have one player near the top of the market that makes the squad as well. Been playing well, and I think he's a good addition for this week. Do you want me to reveal that player?
Yes, take it away.
It's world number 103, 23-year-old Michael Thorbjornsen. I'm a big fan of Thorbjornsen. And he comes into this event on 21 under par and only missed out on that playoff by 1 shot. Now, I've explained we can expect a really low score this week, and that is the sort of test that Thorbjornsen just seems to really thrive on. He's got a really high average birdie average on the PGA Tour. In fact, he's actually 6th on that list against the entire tour. So when you get to these low-scoring events, evidently by his finishing results as well, he seems to play his best golf here. He's solid enough through the bag without being outstanding, but he's a really good scorer, and he does come into this event after shooting 4 rounds in the 60s in the Rocket Mortgage. Last year, we had Davis Thompson win this event off a similar profile, broke his maiden in this. This year, to me, it looks like it's Thorbjornsen's turn. He's coming into this with a very similar profile, destined to be a world-class player, and 25-1 is fair enough value for me on a small stake week. It's important to point out, it's just a small stake week for this tour.
Yeah, lovely stuff. Michael Thorbjornsen, 25-1. The headline selection for Joe here in his 4-man squad for the John Deere Classic. Who's next up?
Next up, we have world number 124, Andrew Putnam, at 66-1, I believe there, George, with priced up.
Let me just verify that. We've had some troubles with this. Sure. Yeah, 66-1, you got the spot on.
Perfect. Very good value, I think, this week. He is a PGA Tour winner, but we haven't seen him in the winners' enclosure since 2018, where he did win the Barracuda Championship. But it doesn't really tell the full story about his game since then, because he's had 5 further runner-up spots, 2 third places, and he's finished in the top 5 22 times. So it's not for a fact that he hasn't been playing well since then. He's actually really, really competitive. Based on his current form as well, he's very much overpriced. He finished tight 6-2 68, 67. And then in the Rocket Mortgage last week, tied 8th, 64, 66, 69, and then a 70. The most impressive part about his game at the moment, George, is he's absolutely dialed in with his wedges and his irons. And if you hit greens around here, you're giving your chance a really good opportunity to then go out and score well. Not a flashy player, keeps it simple, hits greens, makes putts. 66 to 1 around this scoreable course. Looks really good value to my eye anyway.
Great stuff. Yeah, the man who's born to be a golfer, Andrew Putnam, 66 to 1. The second selection here. Two more, Joe. Who have you got?
Yeah, we're on number 55. Michael Kim next at 40 to 1. Winner of this event in 2018. Now, his form figures in this event show tied 71st. First, missed cut, missed cut, missed cut, missed cut. But do not worry, because I promise you this golf course suits his game better than most will. In the 3 of the last 4 tournaments that he's played here where he's missed the cut, he hasn't been in very good form. Real big swing problems. Much better now, very close to peak form. And his tied 26th at the Rocket Mortgage came on the basis that he didn't actually putt too well. But 2 factors I really, really like about him this year is that he's starting to find his consistency in his game. He has made 10 of his last 10 cuts. 3 of those have been in the top 6. And his ball striking has gone from 0 to 100 in a couple of tournaments. Really, really good. This is probably a week where you'll find a lot of golf tipsters won't necessarily like Michael Kim because they'll be looking at form around this golf course. But I've explained what the problem was at that time. He's in good form this year. He's won this event previously. I see no reason why he doesn't come in here full of confidence. And the 40 to 1 is pretty good value, I think, there again, George.
Great stuff. 40 to 1. Michael Kim, the third selection here for Joe, who is the fourth and final in this week's squad.
The final selection is going to be world number 46, Lucas Glover, at 35 to 1, I think, there, George.
35 to 1 is spot on.
That's really good value. You've got no big guns here, no big hitters that are going to take advantage of this golf course. But Lucas Glover, the world number 46, is an absolute legend on tour. He, for me, is the class act in this field this week. He's a 6-time PGA Tour winner. He's won at all sorts of courses. He's won at Pebble Beach. He's won at links golf courses, inland golf courses. He's not necessarily been in peak form this year, but he is still playing classy enough to have 4 top 10s and 2 top 3s this season. You would expect Lucas Glover to come here and at least play solid enough golf to see him through the weekend. He is very appealing this week, certainly more appealing than most. For me, he is the solid player for the squad this week. If he's not there contending on Sunday, I will be very disappointed. Even though, again, this is a small stakes week, everything sets up nicely for Lucas Glover this week, so he should be able to go well at 35 to 1.
Absolutely love having Putnam and Glover in the same team. Just purely from a nominative determinism standpoint, rather than anything else. Michael Torbjornsen.
You should have had Aaron Ryan there. He wears a glove when he puts.
Yeah, he does. There's 2 when he swings. Michael Torbjornsen, 25 to 1, 66 to 1, Andrew Putnam, 40 to 1, Michael Kim, and 35 to 1, Lucas Glover, the 4-man squad for Joe, ahead of the John Deere Classic. Anything else in the other markets this week?
Yes, we're going to have a look at a top 10 finish for Rico Hoey. Now, I've mentioned many a time on the Punting Green that he's really good from tee to green, excellent with a wedge in his hand. But as soon as he gets to the putting green, things just seem to fall away. He's not a very good putter. But if you go back and look at his results, he's still playing well enough to sort of finish fairway at the leaderboard. And in a week where we haven't got Scheffler, McIlroy, etc. again, I think the 7 to 1 for Rico Hoey to finish in the top 10 could be the way to play him, because it's a weak enough event. Yes, there are putting worries, but he's still been playing well enough to compete. So there's just a little niggling, something telling me he's going to go well this week at this golf course. Anyway, Rico Hoey. Top 10, 7 to 1 would do for now. I probably will have some more side bets come the tournament. People might have to look out for my oddschecker column for a couple of the others, just because I'm a little bit behind based on the track being a little bit difficult to suss out. But Rico Hoey is one that will go in. Top 10, 7 to 1, and that will cover our bets for the week if he lands.
Great stuff. 7 to 1, Rico Hoey. I was going to say I see he's also listed in the top Asian market at 7 to 1, up against I know Sunjai. You've been kind of against any value there, or
there's a couple of markets that I've got 2 or 3 players outlined at the moment. I just need to narrow them down. Hisatsune is always on my radar at the moment. That Asian market is deep, to be honest, as well. But look, Rico Hoey is in. He's in the top 10 finish. My top nationalities will have to wait. Don't want to force anything until I'm ready, but hopefully the viewers will follow me on oddschecker as well to get those come the time.
Great stuff. Yeah, so just one and done there for the sub-markets. Rico Hoey 7-1. The top 10 finish to go with Torbjornsson, Putnam, Kim and Glover in the outright markets. As I say every week, make sure you sign up to PriceUp.bet if you haven't done so already. Really competitive pricing across sports. They've also got a price boosts page where loads up there in terms of boosts. Like even already now, we've got Open Championship price boosts ahead of the Open at Portrush in a couple of weeks' time. Scheffler boosted 6-1 to win, Bryson 22-1 to win, Ludwig Oberg 33-1 to win. So keep an eye on those, and you can get some really good value stuff with PriceUp.bet.
Especially that 22-1 for DeChambeau. That seemed very generous.
There you go, Bryson for the Open. A bit of a spoiler maybe for our show, hopefully in the studio in a couple of weeks. Thank you, Joe, for taking the time, as ever, to share your tips with us. oddschecker have you covered for all your best prices and betting needs across bookmakers. And on the app, as Joe said, you can find his tips up there too. So make sure you download that and subscribe. But we'll see you again next week. That's our John Deere Classic preview. Enjoy the golf and please ensure that you're gambling responsibly.